This guy reveals that he was hired by the person who sent Rollo to make his delivery. Noor apologizes for ruining their plan, but the guy doesn't care, and he just reveals that he is after the kid. Rollo is worth a lot of money, so the guy is there to take him back. This guy moves at blazing speed, and Noor just barely manages to repel his attack. The stranger explains that his client wants to end the kid's life, but it would be much easier for him if he eliminated Rollo right now, so he would only have to bring back his body. As they fight, Noor says that he doesn't understand what this guy's problem is, but the guy says that Noor doesn't need to understand anything. Lin is shocked to see how fast they are moving, because she can't even follow along, and Ines tells her to stay behind her. The stranger continues with his dangerous attacking style, but Noor manages to parry him every time. The guy doesn't lose his cool at all, and simply decides to chop Noor's head off. Noor parries the guy's attack at the very last moment, and Noor is shocked that the mystery guy was able to generate such power with just a tiny blade. The stranger is surprised as well when his blade falls apart, but he has another one that he uses to attack Noor. Noor realizes that he is in trouble, because all he can do is avoid the attack, on intuition alone. Noor won't be able to last much longer, because fighting while trying to protect Rollo is taking its toll. Lin is horrified by the power surging from their battle, and she can't even move. Ines uses her shield to protect Lin, and Ines reveals that she has just realized something. This man's appearance, along with his immense strength, has made it clear that he is the former S-rank adventurer called Zadu. A look back. Ines found documents from unsolved cases. This case was closed because the target was officially eliminated on record, but it wasn't true. The target was Zadu, who became an S-rank adventurer at a young age, which made him a target for other S-ranks. Ines was shocked to hear this, because S-rank targets are not usually humans. Gilbert was excited to take down Zadu, but the heroes told him to not even try. The reason they pretended that Zadu was eliminated was because he is actually too strong for anyone to take out. They decided to close the case, because they didn't want to send any more people just to get eliminated. Gilbert was still curious, so they explained that as a kid, Zadu mastered the ancient art of dwarven alchemy. At the young age of 13, Zadu earned the name Dragon Slayer. Gilbert was shocked, because that meant this guy was even more impressive than him. Zadu became very famous, and he was admired by all adventurers. However, Zadu did not always use his talents for good things. Zadu eliminated several civilians for an unknown reason, but the guild didn't want to take away his adventurer license, because he made many contributions to them. Zadu even took down a disaster-level threat monster on his own. The decision on how to deal with him was split, so they decided to postpone it. Zadu takes on any job as long as it pays well, and things like morals are meaningless to him. This was made clear when Zadu wiped out an entire country and eliminated an entire royal family. It was as if Zadu had no sense of good or evil. Back to the present. Ines explains all this to Lin. Zadu has been challenged by many adventurers, but it only resulted in a mountain of corpses, and the bounty on Zadu's head is now incredibly high. To prevent anyone from going after him, the guild announced that he was no longer alive. Zadu and Noor take a break from their fight, because Zadu is disappointed to see that his entire collection of daggers has been destroyed. They are made of materials that aren't supposed to break so easily, so Noor wonders if Zadu is looking for reimbursement. Zadu thinks Noor is pretty weird, but not as weird as his sword. Zadu decides to play it safe, as he tosses his sword into the sky, and Ines is shocked to see that it breaks apart into several swords. This attack is pretty famous, as it can take several hundred lives in the blink of an eye. It is a weapon that Zadu transmuted himself, and it is called the Silver Cross. Zadu uses it to attack, and Noor is barely able to protect Rollo in time. Noor knows that he won't be able to win, and Ines realizes just how terrible the situation is. Ines determines that Noor and Rollo will both perish if she doesn't help, but she reminds herself that her mission is to make sure that Lin survives. Ines realizes something, and asks Lin for permission to leave her and assist in the battle. Noor does his best to fight back all the swords, but one of the swords is too fast for him. Luckily for Noor, Ines arrives just in the nick of time. Ines reiterates that her job is to protect Lin, but Ines also realizes that this means she must keep Noor alive too. Ines uses her powerful shields to push Zadu back, but it is clear that none of them is able to hit him. This is because Zadu and his swords are just moving way too fast. Ines realizes this as well, so she decides that she will focus on defense, while Noor finishes off Zadu. Noor isn't sure if he can do it, because Zadu's swarm of swords moves around like a living creature. Just then Noor comes up with an idea, and asks Ines to move one of her shields on his signal. Then Noor physic enhances himself, as he has Ines move a shield, and Noor launches the fangs of the dragon he defeated right at Zadu. The fangs are incredibly strong, and Ines is shocked to see that Noor was able to destroy Zadu's swords with them. Noor continues using his stone throw attack, and he manages to take out most of the swords. Zadu comes out of nowhere to attack Ines, but Noor manages to stop him. Zadu can't understand how Noor was able to stop his attack, but what's even more strange is that his dagger made of adamantite was broken by Noor. Zadu tries to attack again, but he just gets the same result. Zadu thinks Noor is a pretty weird guy, so Zadu asks Noor how he can see his attacks and counter them. Noor says that it is just something he can do, but Zadu can tell that there's more to it. Zadu decides to just call it a day and leave, because recovering his weapons after they have been shattered is a real pain. That isn't all though, as Zadu explains that there will be a huge celebration happening at the royal capital. This doesn't sound good at all to Ines, but unfortunately Zadu doesn't have any more details about this extravagant event. Zadu says that Noor is the strangest guy he has ever met, and Zadu tells Rollo to consider himself really lucky. Zadu goes for one last sneak attack, but Noor stops him once again, and Zadu points out that Noor is why he wasn't able to get his reward for retrieving Rollo. Zadu leaves, and everyone wonders what will happen in the capital. Noor thinks they should go back, especially since they won't be able to take Rollo to Mitra. Just then Rollo begins to shake uncontrollably, after hearing that they're all from the royal capital. Rollo tells everyone that they can't go back, because of something terrifying. Rollo heard that the biggest monster was going to the royal capital, and it was strong enough to wipe out the entire city. Lin realizes that this situation is more urgent than she thought, so Lin decides that they will return to the capital. Noor agrees with Lin's decision, but Ines refuses. Ines is shocked when Lin reveals that she knows exactly what Rain ordered Ines to do. Lin says that they will suffer the same fate as the demon folk if they abandon the capital, so they must return and warn everyone about the monster. Ines gives in and agrees to go back, but Ines tells Lin not to leave her side for even a moment. Noor thinks it would be best for Rollo if they split up, but Rollo refuses. Rollo is sure that a demon folk is the one bringing the monster, and even if he doesn't think he will be able to do anything, Rollo still wants to help. Lin sees how serious Noor has gotten, so she assumes it is because of his big heart. Lin is completely wrong, as Noor is just thinking about how he wishes if he could have taken a bite out of the poisonous frog. On their way back, Lin thinks about how worried she is, but Lin finds comfort in knowing that Noor is with her. Noor fought the dragon and the legendary Zadu, so they should be fine. Lin determines that it is her responsibility to take Noor to the royal capital, so he can save everyone, and Lin calls him the man who practically jumps straight out of an epic hero's tale. Back at the royal capital, Rain is told that many citizens have been evacuated, thanks to the efforts of the 6 heroes. They fended off the enemy's ambush, but Rain is sure that another wave will be coming. This is the perfect time for them to do it, because the capital forces are scattered. Rain is sure that the enemy is just waiting for them to exhaust themselves and preparing the next wave. Rain wonders which direction they will be coming from, and he realizes that they could come from the sky as well. Rain is told that there have been no sightings of flying monster, but Rain notices something strange in the sky. Rain is horrified when he realizes it is hiding above the clouds, so Rain uses his uncovered ability to break its barrier. Rain stares in shock, as he can't believe what he sees. A soldier wonders if it is a black dragon, but Rain points out it is far too big. This is actually their worst nightmare, because it's a dragon of calamity. In the past, Noor was taught by his father about how dangerous dragons are. A certain adventurer would slay these dragons, and the materials that came from them were turned into very high-quality weapons and medicines. This in turn brought wealth to the land, and it made the adventurer a hero, which the people would call the Dragon Slayer. Noor wanted to be a dragon slayer, but his father explained how difficult it is to slay a dragon. Some dragons are incredibly strong, and they have been alive for thousands of years. They can make the ground crumble with just one step, and they can even destroy entire mountains, just by swinging their tail. In fact, a nation was nearly destroyed by dragons that ran wild. Noor's father finished telling him these stories, but Noor never stopped wanting to become a dragon slayer. Back to the present, Noor and his group traveled back to the capital, but Lin is horrified to see the Dragon of Calamity. The gigantic dragon terrifies everyone in the capital, and Rain wonders if the Magic Empire understands the horror they have unleashed on the world. The Dragon of Calamity has been asleep for the past 150 years, but it should still be dormant. Rain becomes furious because this means that the Empire awakened the dragon. The dragon causes massive destruction with a single flap of its wings, so Rain orders for everyone to be evacuated. It's a terrible emergency, so Rain instructs his troops to pry anyone away from their belongings if they are hesitant to leave. One of the heroes watches from nearby, and she senses that magic is being used to obstruct all the evacuation routes. This is terrible, because it makes it impossible for the 6 heroes to unite. Then we see that the heroes have their hands full throughout the area. Gilbert tells the king to evacuate, but the king just instructs him to get the citizens as far away from the capital as possible. As for himself, the king has a job he still needs to do. Nearby Ines determines that there is no hope left for the capital, because the dragon will surely decimate it. Lin fears that her father will use himself as a shield, so the citizens can escape, but Lin knows that even he is no match for the legendary dragon. Lin is terrified of what will happen, so Lin hopes that her father will just leave the capital, instead of fighting. Just then everyone is shocked to see how casual Noor still is. Noor says that he has never seen a dragon before, but Lin points out that the monster he defeated earlier was also a dragon. Lin explains that her father and brother are still in the capital, but it's too late to help them. Noor casually says that he thinks he can make it in time if he runs, but this just shocks Lin. Noor says that they can use her wind blast again like they did against the goblin, but Lin fears that the power needed to get him to the capital in time will end up hurting him really bad. Noor reminds Lin that his sword will take the burden of the damage. Noor says that he owes a lot to the people of the city and to the king, so he wants to help all Noor has to do is help the king to escape, and Noor is sure that he can do that. Lin snaps out of her pessimism, and she realizes that Noor is not someone that should be doubted. Lin's wind blasts are not meant to be used on humans, but Noor is not a normal guy. Another look back, the king refusing to hand over the Dungeon of the Lost to the Magic Empire. King was told that he was just letting it go to waste, because it had the power to create an army that could control the world. The king explained that he is just choosing not to use a power that is beyond their control. Back to the present, the dragon continues its rampage, and the king determines that the empire will stop at nothing to get the dungeon. King realizes that he underestimated the empire, because he never thought they would throw the full force of their might at them. Now the king takes full responsibility for the breakdown in negotiations. The capital is facing destruction, but all the king can think about is Lin's safety. This makes the king realize that the empire was right. He is not fit to be king, and he has always been more suited to being on the battlefield. The king apologizes to his people for failing them, and King vows to take at least one of the dragon's eyes with him. Back with Noor, Ines creates a cylinder with her shield to amplify Lin's wind blast, and Noor stands in front of it. To amplify it more, Ines uses magic to reflect on her shield several times. This is clearly becoming more intense, and Noor can tell that this is kind of different from the last time. Lin confirms this as she explains that the impact from this wind blast is going to be far stronger than it was before. Lin puts everything she has into it, and she apologizes to Noor in advance. Lin remembers not to doubt him, and unleashes the attack. Rollo is stunned by the amount of power being admitted, and the next thing he sees is that Noor has completely disappeared in the blink of an eye. Back in the capital, the king comes face to face with the dragon. Everyone watching is horrified, as the dragon prepares to use its dragon breath attack, because it is the one that burned the entire continent to a crisp several hundred years ago. The king realizes that the dragon is giving him no chance to survive, but he is determined to do something kingly, at least once before he dies. The king pulls out a dagger, and tells the dragon that he is going to show it how tenacious humans are. One of the heroes watching recognizes the dagger. It is the blasting dagger, and it channels all of the wielder mana into one powerful but sacrificial blow. The heroes are horrified to see that the king is going to sacrifice himself, but they realize that there is no other option. The king goes in to sacrifice himself, but Noor out of nowhere to parry the dragon's attack. Everyone watches in absolute shock, as Noor just shoves the legendary dragon, and the dragon collapses. The dragon wonders what is going on, and he is confused to see that a tiny human just knocked her off balance. Dragon declares that the strong control the weak with violence, and that is just the law of the world. Dragon Giant Tail does massive damage to the capo as it moves to strike Nor, but Nor just parries that as well. The dragon comes crashing down again, and Nor just thinks about how he thought he wouldn't survive. Then we see moments from a few minutes ago before, when Nor was launched towards the capital. Nor used physical enhancement to regain his balance, and he sent himself over the castle wall. Nor was surprised to see how fast he got there, but Nor realized that there was no way for him to stop himself. Nor didn't hesitate, and just used his parry ability. Nor never wants to do that again, and he thinks about how parrying the dragon was way easier than he expected. The dragon gets back up, but Nor doesn't think it is that scary anymore. The girls finally arrive at the capital, and they plan to help the king escape while Nor fights the dragon. Unfortunately, they end up getting attacked, but Ines manages to protect them in time. Several goblin emperors appear, but they are quite small compared to the one Nor and Lin confronted. Goblin emperors are still in a league of their own, so they are in big danger. Lin decides to think like Nor does, so Lin tells Ines not to worry, because they are only fighting goblins. Ines is inspired by her confidence, and agrees that these goblins are not nearly as terrifying as the dragon. These goblins end up blasting through her attack, but Rollo steps in and commands the goblins to stop moving. Lin uses the opportunity to freeze them, and Ines converts her shield into a sword. Ines destroys all the goblins with one powerful strike, and Lin realizes why Ines was given the Divine Sword title. Rollo is just as impressive, because he was able to stop the overpowered goblins with just a few words. Such a young kid having this power is incredible, but Lin can tell that it takes great courage for him to use it. Back with Nor, we see that the dragon is getting really frustrated. Dragon keeps attacking Nor, but he just keeps parrying her. Dragon's claws and scales should be indestructible, but Nor is somehow damaging them badly. Nor is shocked by how his sword never gets a single scratch, no matter what he swings it at. Nor wonders what the secret behind it is, but it doesn't really matter, because it is his key to victory. The dragon can't understand what is going on, but he realizes that he can stop worrying, because there is no chance that her next attack will fail. Dragon flies to the sky, and everyone watches as he gathers a ton of energy into her mouth. Then Dragon releases the powerful beam right at Nor, but Nor once again parries it. This sends the attack straight into the air, and everyone watches in amazement as its explosion covers the sky in light. The dragon lets out a roar, and Rollo can sense that there is more to its anger. The dragon is frustrated, because Nor isn't treating it as a serious threat, even though that is what it's trying to be. Dragons are very prideful, and this is especially true for the Dragon Elder, who considers itself to be stronger than anything. The dragon becomes furious because this fight has made it clear that he is the weak one compared to Nor. Nor parry another one of the dragon's attacks, and the girls are shocked to see that it has decided to submit to him. The townspeople watch from afar, and their mouths nearly drop to the ground. Nor remembers what his father said about the adventurer who defeated dragons. Slaying dragons brought wealth to the people, and he became known as a dragon slayer. However, Nor sees that this dragon doesn't want to fight anymore. Nor decides not to end the dragon's life, and thinks that he isn't really a hero anyway. The rest of his group rushes to him, and Nor waves to his friends. So now what will happen next? Subscribe to our channel to find out what will happen next. So friends, if you liked our recap video, then please like and share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.